Manipulators do not listen to your problems out of empathy. They read your desperate need for validation to map the exact architecture of your insecurities, using your own friendliness as a weapon to keep you at the bottom of the social hierarchy. You believe that the people who listen to you complain, the ones who always seem available to hear about your bad days, are your loyal friends. But the painful truth is that in the dark psychology of human behavior, extreme friendliness is almost always a data-gathering tool. Listen to me very carefully, because the social landscape is shifting rapidly. The unspoken rules of power are changing, and the window of opportunity to build an impenetrable psychological armor is closing faster than you think. What I am about to reveal in this video is not public knowledge. It is a highly guarded, exclusive breakdown of how covert social predators disguise themselves as your closest allies to extract your energy and control your reality. If you choose to click away right now, you are making a fatal choice. You are guaranteeing that your internal power, your time, and your status will remain permanently drained by fake friends who view your blind trust purely as an exploitable resource. Every single day you operate with this dangerous naivety, you are bleeding leverage. But if you stay until the very end of this video, I will hand you the exact Machiavellian blueprint to spot a toxic manipulator instantly, sever their invisible strings of control, and hold absolute power over your social circle without ever raising your voice. Let's get one thing straight from the start. The most dangerous enemy you will ever face is not the one who attacks you openly. It is the one who stands right beside you, smiling, while secretly consuming your status. How covert predators map your mind. Let's look at how elite predators actually operate in the shadows of your everyday life. Covert narcissists do not come at you with a drawn weapon. They come at you with a mirror. They operate like highly evolved hunters who have cracked your specific psychological code. The greatest lie you have been sold is that toxic people are obvious, that they are loud, aggressive, and easy to spot. The reality is that the most destructive manipulators are usually the most charming people in the room. They simulate absolute loyalty and fake warmth simply to draw your energy in. When you meet them, they will make you feel like you are the most fascinating person in the world. They will ask you deep, probing questions about your past, your failures, your relationships, and your deepest fears. And because you are starved for genuine connection, you will open up. You will hand them the keys to your psychological vault. What you do not realize is that they are not listening to connect with you. They are listening to catalog your weaknesses. This is the dark radar of the covert manipulator. They are building a psychological profile on you. If you tell them you are insecure about your intelligence, they will file that away. If you tell them you have a desperate need to be included, they will weaponize that need. Once they have mapped out the exact coordinates of your vulnerabilities, they begin the subtle process of dismantling your self-worth. It never happens all at once. It happens in microaggressions disguised as jokes. It happens when they bring up your most embarrassing failure at a dinner party and frame it as a funny story. When you get upset, they will look at you with fake concern and tell you that you are being too sensitive. Ignorance of this Machiavellian tactic mathematically ensures your permanent status as an obedient puppet in their carefully constructed game. The trap of uninvited debts. One of the most ruthless strategies these operators use against trusting people is the illusion of uninvited debts. Predators know that human beings are deeply conditioned by society to return favors. It is a primitive rule of human interaction. If someone gives you something, you must give them something back. Covert manipulators exploit this rule flawlessly. They will offer you a tiny, fake crumb of validation, maybe an unrequested favor that cost them absolutely nothing, or a sudden burst of intense, flattering attention. They might buy you a cheap lunch or offer to help you with a minor task. And because your ego is starved for approval, your mind registers this tiny gesture as a massive, unforgettable debt. Suddenly, you feel a deep, heavy obligation to repay them. This is the psychological cage. Once the uninvited debt is established, the fake friend begins to extract their payment. You start saying yes to their entirely unreasonable demands. You start laughing at their disrespectful comments. You begin to defend their toxic behavior to other people just to prove your loyalty. You are trapped in a prison of your own making, built entirely by your fear of looking ungrateful. The darkest secret of toxic friendships is that the predator never actually forces you to stay. They offer a fake illusion of social approval, and your own pathetic desperation to be a good friend builds the iron bars of your mental cage. They know that as long as you care what they think, they hold the remote control to your reality. They will manufacture heavy, dramatic situations where your desire to be perceived as loyal forces you to carry their emotional baggage, do their dirty work, and completely abandon your own personal goals. The Machiavellian power of scarcity. So, how do the top 1% of operators completely detach from this trap? How do they spot fake friends, stay cold, and command absolute respect without seeking a single drop of validation? They understand the absolute power of scarcity. In the marketplace of human interaction, the rules of supply and demand are absolute. If you are always available, always smiling, always eager to help, and always ready to drop your own priorities the second a friend calls with a crisis, your value plummets to the bottom of the barrel. People only respect what is difficult to obtain. When you make your attention, your time, and your emotional reactions scarce, their perceived value skyrockets instantly. The individuals who command the highest status in any hierarchy are the ones who do not give their energy freely. They guard their focus as if their life depends on it, because socially it does. If you want people to value you, you must become intimately comfortable with the art of strategic withdrawal. This is not about hiding in your room, throwing a tantrum, or cutting off the entire world in a fit of rage. It is about removing your emotional availability from anyone who has not earned the right to have it. Right now, your attention is dangerously cheap. You give it to anyone who texts you, anyone who creates fake drama, anyone who throws a passing glance your way. To break the curse of fake friendships, you have to treat your attention like high-grade currency. When a toxic friend tries to rope you into their endless, cyclical drama, you withdraw. You don't argue, you don't debate, you don't write a long emotional paragraph explaining why you are busy. You simply become unavailable. The asymmetry of silence technique. When a fake friend challenges you, tests your boundaries, or throws a disguised insult your way, your immediate reflex is to explain yourself. You rush to fill the silence. You over-apologize. You try desperately to make them understand your point of view. You bleed massive amounts of energy trying to control their perception of you. The truly powerful do the exact opposite. When they are tested, they deploy the asymmetry of silence. They speak less than necessary to maintain absolute superiority and an aura of cold mystery. Silence is the most terrifying weapon in dark psychology because it provides zero information to the enemy. It creates a massive, uncomfortable void, and human beings are psychologically terrified of voids. When you don't react, you force the manipulator to sit in their own awkward, aggressive energy. You deny them the emotional supply they were hunting for. Think about the psychological mechanics of an argument. When someone attacks you with subtle disrespect and you come back with words, you have entered their game. You are playing by their rules. You have given them exactly what they wanted, a reaction that proves they have power over your emotional state. But when you respond with cold, unbroken eye contact and absolute silence, the game stops. The power shifts entirely to you. They throw a punch, and you don't even blink. By simply not caring enough to defend yourself, you instantly project the aura of someone who is fundamentally above the attack. You communicate, without uttering a single syllable, that their opinion of you is so insignificant it does not even warrant the energy of your vocal cords. This destroys a narcissist more than any clever comeback ever could. Fake friends also frequently use the contrast principle to break your boundaries. They will make a massive, completely unreasonable demand on your time. When you look shocked, they will quickly retreat to a slightly smaller, yet still highly invasive demand. Because you desperately want to avoid conflict, you perceive this smaller demand as a generous concession on their part. You feel a sudden, irrational obligation to meet them halfway. You end up doing something you never wanted to do, simply because it looked smaller in comparison to their initial outrageous request. You need to see this tactic for exactly what it is: pure, calculated exploitation. When you recognize that their initial offer was a setup designed to manipulate your sense of loyalty, you owe them absolutely nothing. A trick does not deserve a favor in return. You give them silence and a flat, unapologetic no. No excuses, no softening the blow. Just a clean, sharp boundary that cannot be crossed. Reclaim your absolute social dominance. Your constant need to fit into your social circle is turning you into a disposable pawn. Human beings are governed by the intense need to fit into the group, a primitive force that drives the herd effect. We are wired to look at what the crowd is doing to determine what is correct. But when you apply this instinct to your own personal worth, it becomes a deadly, unstoppable virus. You start believing that if the group doesn't validate your choices, you are fundamentally worthless. By shutting down your cold rationality just to please a circle of fake friends, you are handing total control of your life to covert manipulators who dictate the group's direction. To hold true power, you must completely detach your self-worth from the consensus of the group. The elite understand that the herd is almost always wrong. The herd is highly emotional, completely blind, and easily steered toward the slaughterhouse. Many of you watching this are trapped in friendships where you were promised respect, value, and loyalty, only to have it stripped away the moment you fully committed. You were lowballed. They gave you a false, inflated sense of importance to secure your absolute loyalty. And now you are staying because your mind has built a fake support system of excuses to justify the misery. You tell yourself, they are just having a hard time right now. Or, if I am just a little more supportive, they will finally see my true worth. This is a pathetic lack of a spine disguised as noble empathy. You are lying to yourself. The moment you realize your desire to be liked is forcing you to stay in an exploitative environment, you must cut the cord. No dramatic exits, no long emotional speeches seeking closure. Just a quiet, permanent withdrawal of your presence. Weak people are utterly terrified of social friction. They will tolerate any disrespect and swallow any insult to avoid a confrontational silence. Elite operators, on the other hand, embrace friction. They use friction deliberately to test the hierarchy and see who actually holds the power. When you stop being nice and start being real, you will introduce heavy, uncomfortable friction into your relationships. People who were entirely used to walking all over you will be outraged. They will try to shame you. They will call you selfish, arrogant, cold, and toxic. Good, let them. That is the beautiful sound of the emotional parasites starving to death. Let the friction burn away every toxic, one-sided connection in your life. The people who actually belong in your reality will respect the new boundary. The ones who leave angrily were only ever there to consume your energy. You need to get highly specific right now, because energy parasites explicitly disguised as your close friends do not deserve a formal goodbye. They always have a new crisis, a new drama, and you always step in to help because you pride yourself on being a loyal friend. Understand this. They are not looking for actual solutions to their problems. They are looking for endless attention. They suck your energy, your time, and your mental space, and they give absolutely nothing back when you are the one in need. You must erase them from your reality, not dramatically, not by exposing them publicly, quietly, completely, and permanently. Stop responding to their frantic messages. Stop showing up to their manufactured drama. Treat them like they are entirely invisible, because to you, they should be. Your attention is the most valuable asset you own, and absolutely none of it should go to people who do not actively add to your power. This is the ultimate psychological transformation. You must stop seeing yourself as a minor supporting character in their movie and start realizing that you are the ruthless director of your own reality. If someone doesn't like you, or if someone whispers about you behind your back, that is their heavy psychological burden to carry, not yours. You must build an impenetrable armor of self-reliance. You validate yourself. You respect yourself. The greatest operators in the world do not waste a single heartbeat trying to convince a hater of their true worth. The next time you walk into a room, do not desperately scan the faces to see who approves of you. Scan the room to see who is actually worth your valuable time. Flip the frame entirely. The world is not interviewing you. You are interviewing the world. You have a critical choice to make right now. You can close this video, go back to your normal life, and continue to be the smiling, accommodating, exhausted puppet that everyone uses and absolutely nobody respects. You can continue to let the deep-seated fear of losing fake friends dictate your every single move, keeping you trapped at the bottom of the dominance hierarchy forever. But know this, every day you operate with this weakness, you are bleeding status, and predators are mathematically calculating your lack of leverage to climb above you. Or you can make the definitive decision today to kill the people-pleaser inside you. If this painful truth hit you exactly where it needed to, if you are finally ready to stop begging for scraps of validation from toxic people and start commanding the respect you deserve, drop the words, "fake friends," in the comments right now. Draw a permanent line in the sand today. Take back the power you have been freely giving away to the unworthy. And if you want to master the exact, step-by-step dark psychology and warfare tactics that the elite use to dominate every social hierarchy, hit the subscribe button. Do it now. The social game is ruthless, and the unprepared will be eaten alive. Spot the fakes, stay cold, and never apologize for your power.